Welcome, y'all. We're here doing another video. Today is our first time going live on Instagram. Doubt we have anybody there, but for everybody out there, first off, this is Sam and Steve here, and we're going to go over basically everything that Elev8 Distribution has for dabbing, a form of vaporization.
Dab straws, accessories, we call them wax maxers, all the different sorts of options that you'll get with Elev8 Distribution dab accessories.
Okay, so I think right now we'll just start out with
pretty much what they are.
Yeah, in Elev8 Distribution, we have an array of just repeatable stuff. We can do really high-end custom stuff as well. Like we have dab straws that we could turn this into a dab straw or this into a dab straw. These are for our elevators, but we can really make anything 1,000 different ways, which is really exciting. It brings the ability to give your customers some amazing stuff, choices. All right.
So why do people like dab straws so much?
From my recollection that, and seeing this in the head shops and whatnot, dab straws are a really quick, cheap way to do essential oils. You need a torch, which nowadays a lot of people have. I think the biggest drawback on there is it makes you kind of seem like you're doing crack or something. But it's really, really easy. You just heat these things up in the torch and then inhale and put it into your wax. So as that hotness touches the wax, that's basically hot enough and it starts to vaporize the oils and everything and whatnot. One thing that I hear that the dab straws hurt, it's usually because there's a small amount of surface here and you need a lot of heat to go ahead and heat that up, and then you get the contents and the lipids and everything like that. But it's definitely quick and easy to do oils, concentrates.
Yeah. So why do you think they're selling so good?
Again, cheapness. There's the affordability. I also think, people see their friends having them and they don't know that there's other options out there to do it, whether it be a pen or a portable vape or a lot of different stuff. But, if you already have a torch or you get this, for a cheap one, 20, maybe 50 bucks, you can get into the game and you have your torch, you have your thing, everything you need to do essential oil. So it's just, I think it's really the affordability, that it's very, very affordable and easy. You just heat it up, stick it, and go. So it's...
Yeah, and plus when you're talking about little guys like this, all you need, concentrate, your dab straw, and a torch, and you're good to go. You don't need a water rig, you don't need bangers, all these extra accessories on top of all those expensive concentrates.
Those accessories, they do, I feel, enhance the experience, but for on the go, I think it's not about enhancing the experience. The experience is being on the go.
Yeah, you're just trying to get the experience.
Right. So, yeah, I think that's it. The portability is phenomenal for how small these are as well.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing, I think.
Cool. So let's go over some of the different options that we have.
Okay, so these right here, this is our standard just clear one. We make these here and whatnot. So, and then we got these right here, which is the colored tip, and we have these in about 7 different colors. And then we have our next one up with a small switch ball donut on it, and then it's got obviously a hole in it. So these are the main 3 that we do for custom repeatable ones. And then we have this is all quartz. It's a little smaller. And then the difference between quartz and boro is this: I can heat up and I can cool down really fast. Where boro, it'll last you a lot longer if you heat it up really slow and then cool it down really slow. So that would be the difference between quartz and whatnot. And then we have these dab straws right here. When you want just some off-the-wall type stuff, you contact us up, say how much you want to spend on them, and then we make them up to
just kind of
an
assortment of different dab straws, so you can have a bunch of different color options on your shelf for your customers.
You can let us know what colors you like, what colors you don't like, and I think that's really, really good. And then we got these things right here, and these don't really fill up with water or anything, but they look really cool. They're phenomenal. They do have more air there, so it gives some time for the dab to cool down. And then these do the same thing, really long, neat, just a little bit different. Looks like a little hummingbird maybe. One
thing I like about these ones that look like they should have water in them but don't have water in them is the vapor diffusing that it does. So as the vapor travels around this bubble, it sort of acts like a diffuser beads or something like that in your water filter to split up the smoke a little bit more. I find it's a little bit smoother of a hit, little cooler, rather than doing it out of a straight little tube, you know?
Yeah, and that's probably because you're just short, quick to the dome. This, it goes there, and then the vapor can go ahead and expand out. Same in here. And then we have these things right here. This is our wax maxer with tips. So we have these in titanium, quartz. We have them to go on the inside. I really prefer ones like this to go on the outside of joints because titanium and whatnot, if it expands, it's on the outside, whereas this is on the inside. So just a little safer like that, but really it comes down to what the consumer likes. All of our units that have removable tips all come with a sit clip, so you can guarantee that the piece is going to stay on there. It's made out of metal, so you don't have to worry about it melting off or getting jacked up. And then these actually are designed to be filled up with water, and they'll cool your dab down even more. Obviously, it goes to the big point you showed earlier about these. They're really, really portable. Now these aren't quite as portable, and I feel these are more for like if you're at home probably using them.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, just more options. In our shops, we find customers get like overwhelmed with the amount of options, and everybody's preference is different. So having those available options is important to push as much product as possible.
And I think knowing what the difference is, like what's the difference between this one and this one? Well, this one you can heat up a little faster, cooler than being the quartz than you can a boro. Doesn't mean boro's bad, just means that you want to take care of it a little bit more, cool it and heat it more. And then you got these where they will cool the vapor down a little bit more. So like everything, you go too small and you get certain pros, cons there. You go a little too big and you get other pros and cons. So everything has its pros and cons, but knowing that these are affordable for portability and these start to get a little bigger but give you a smoother hit, you need to know that so you can communicate that to your customer, I believe.
And still you're way under the price of like a big old dab rig or a custom rig like that, because this again is a lot more portable, a lot smaller, a lot less work than like a big old rig like this guy. So cool. Yeah, next I guess we should go over these bangers up here. We got some different bangers, thermal bangers, just regular bangers. So like that guy, just a single wall, and then the double walled thermal banger. And then we also got domeless nails. So what do you think the main difference between the three are?
Personally, I don't think there's much difference on how they work. I think it's more of what is hip and what is hype right now. And really it comes down to the more mass you have there, the longer it's going to be able to hold the heat and vaporize. So people will say, these thermal bangers are better because they'll hold their heat longer. Well, they hold it longer because they have more mass there. It's much like the reactors, which we do have reactors, I think, as well, where they have a tiny little extra piece of quartz down on the bottom there, which holds more mass there and whatnot. So, which if you go buy a normal banger, you got to heat it up for a long time and let it cool. Well, the more mass there, you got to let it cool longer so you don't get your hot dabs. Hot dabs, I believe, are what we don't want to do, and we want to guide people away from doing hot dabs. It's about that nice low temp dab. It's truly vaporizing, and it's not vaporizing all the lipids off and giving people, the hurtful dabs. But some people like that, so you can't really say what's right or wrong. Just what what makes a banger work. Do you need a 14 male or do you need a 14 female? We have that in all the things. We have them down to 10 mils as well.
90-degree angle ones or 45-degree angle ones, depending on the rig you're trying to put it into. Throughout my experience with them, I find these run a lot hotter with the single wall. It's just a lot harder to find that sweet spot in temperature because it doesn't retain the heat that well. I like the thermal, the double wall banger a little bit better because you do have to wait a little bit longer to get it heated up and then cooled down. But once you have it cooled down, I feel like you can keep drawing on it at the right temperature and it doesn't go much further down than that.
Yeah, and I believe that's the mass that has to do with it, because there's twice, almost 3 times as much mass there as there is here. So the smaller it is, you got to think that your heat is going to go up really fast like this and then down really fast like this. The more mass you got, it's going to go more at an angle like this, and then it's going to come down more at an angle like this. And the more mass you add to it, the more it's going to be a gradual up and a gradual down. So that's kind of the big thing on that.
So another difference, especially between like a banger and a domeless nail, bangers do have like a bubble cap or a carb cap. That lets the air travel over the concentrates and sort of act like an oven inside of there. With a domeless nail, you don't really get that option. If you look at it there, it's got a little hole inside of like a big dish. And you just put the concentrate right on the outside of that dish and you're sucking air through the metal hole, which you're going to get a little bit more airflow and your hit's not going to be as cloudy as, say, if you had a bubble cap on there and you were just getting the vapor through there.
Now maybe with a little smaller hit like that, it's a little cooler and better on your lungs than going big and hard. Yeah. But I guess it really comes down to what you, the consumer, want to do.
Yeah, what you're looking for.
We do want to remember, less is more in just consuming of everything. You take these big giant hits with whatever it is, whether it's smoke, vape, dab, whatever, your body can only absorb so much. We have to remember our lungs are basically like, they have X amount of surface area. That surface area can only absorb so much. So if you take a real big giant hit, you're going to absorb maybe 10% of that because there's so much there, and then you exhale. Whereas if you take a tiny little hit, you might be able to absorb 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50% of that hit because it was a lot smaller, and then it was able to go and coat your entire lung. The surface area is how I think of that. So again, less is more. Don't need to hold it in or do anything more than 3 seconds. Your lungs, your blood vessels have already grabbed everything they can. Our body's very efficient, happens really quick, so holding it just allows more gunk to trap up in your lungs, whether it be more dab or just tar or whatever it may be, but let's get it in, get it out, give it to your blood and whatnot.
Yep, that's what we're looking for. Cool, so we got some different accessories that go along with dabbing. My by far favorite is the honey bucket. Which is a silicone container wrapped in a hard piece of plastic. So it screws on, screws off. You don't have to worry about it being in your pocket and the lid popping off or anything like that. Plus the edges are beveled, so it's really easy to get any sort of concentrate out of the dish. Other ones would be our dab tools, pokers. We got character picks you can use as pokers. We have quartz dabbers. We even have colorful ribbon ones, and then we also got titanium dab tools with a flat end on one end and a bowl top on the other end.
For a dab tool like this, I don't believe, and I do feel it's pretty much right, but I don't feel what the material is made out of so much affects your dab or anything as so much like whether it's for a banger, whether it's quartz or boro. Because you're not heating it up, you're taking something and you're putting it in there and it gets warm from the residual heat that you did it. But I don't think it matters if it's soft glass, quartz glass, boro, titanium, steel, anything like that. It's just
yeah, that's your transfer stick. So
whatever you like, whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah. Another thing I would highly encourage, we all know that working with dabs, it gets dirty really fast. So we came up with our brand of cotton swab called the Tidy Tip. I pretty much use them after every time I do a dab, no matter what I'm doing it out of. Either be a banger, a straw, my EOK, any of that, they work phenomenally with that. One side is like a flat sponge sort, and then the other side is pointed detailer. Both sides are tightly wound, so they're super absorbent, and 100% paper, so they're biodegradable too.
Yep.
Cool. Next, I think it's just the other options. This is all of our wax maxers and everything. We do offer a few different ways to consume concentrates. Between our vaporizers, our desktop vaporizers, we have an essential oil kit, which is pretty much just a brand new heater cover that replaces the old one with the top cut out, and you put a titanium dish right on the heater itself.
Well, he just mentioned titanium. We just came out with, this week, we're coming out with a new quartz dish that goes inside of there. It works really, really good for that, meant for low temp vaping, and it's just really, really nice for a connoisseur.
Yep. One of my favorites, especially for portable, would be the flavor disc. Grab it over there. We got one set up in a flavor disc pipe here, which is pretty much just a regular pipe, no carb hole, with a special punch in it, so you can put the ceramic disc right in there. This disc is super porous, so once you put your concentrates right on there and heat it up, it sort of just acts as a sponge and absorbs into the disc. That way, when you're pulling your hot air, either it be a lighter, a hemp wick, you're pulling just that hot surface over the concentrates around it, vaporizing it. Pretty much my favorite one right now is the elevator though. It has replaced my banger at home. I use it with a water pipe adapter and a flavor disc, so the flavor disc is in there, but I don't need to use a lighter or anything like that. I use a torch to heat up the borosilicate heater, which in turn you draw the air through that, heating up the concentrates, vaporizing that. And then you can do it through a water rig or on a standalone wand setup.
Yeah, we didn't really so much we got our heater cover, our elevator heater right here, but it is more of a vaporizer, and it's a little bit different than these dab tools right here. So we really wanted to focus on this. But next week, I think we'll go really big over the elevator. We got a new part for that, and then we'll go over the EOK for its new part as well. What else?
I think that's it. So yeah, if you guys liked what you saw here, leave us some comments, give us some ideas for next week. Anything that you guys want to see, we're open to talk about it. We've been in the industry for a while now, and we just want to get that education out to you guys. Yeah, check us out at Elev8Distribution.com and Stashbox /Elev8 Distribution. You can get a lot of great knowledge there. We got a lot of these videos pumped up there. And call us up, hit us up if you got any questions, concerns. We got a lot of knowledge that we can get to you guys to help you sell more stuff in your stores, help you educate your staff, and then therefore really educate your customers a lot better. So yeah, we got a great knowledge base that we're building up for this. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks again for joining, everybody. Have a great ass week, and we'll see you later. All right, see you later, everybody.